Dude, the craziest thing about the Tom Sandoval essay you're familiar with Sandoval of PPR.
Yes.
They were talking about how when you have a real conversation with him, he'll like hold for sound, but like in real life when nothing's being recorded, he'll just like in the middle of a sentence hold, let the ambulance pass, and then keep going. Wow.
That's insane.
Isn't that the most psychotic thing you've ever heard?
Yeah. I hope to be like that one.
I will say that is like the most interesting thing that the article pointed out is that this is like the longest running group of people to like be observed in this way. They're like what do you call them? Specimens.
Lab rats.
Yeah.
Experiments.
Like we're the Jane Goodalls, except for instead of doing like research, we're like fight each other, kill.
I'm Claire Parker,
and I'm Ashley Hamilton, and
this
is our.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. That's great. That was so good.
No, I thought I'm our Celebrity Memoir Book Club, and this is our shelf.
Oh, okay.
Well, which would you prefer? I'm Claire Parker.
And I'm Ashley Hamilton.
And we're Celebrity Memoir Book Club, and this is our shelf.
That was such good unison.
That was really good.
The first concert I ever remember going to see was Green Day, and I think MetLife Stadium for my friend's birthday, and her dad took us, and he was a cop, and at one point, who was the lead singer? Billy Joel Armstrong? Is that right? Or is that an astronaut? Anyway, he kept reaching down his pants performatively, and the cop with us kept going, I could have him arrested for that. I remember right then and there in the 5th grade, I was like, I don't think cops are for real. I think cops might be corny.
The first concert that I ever went to see was Avril Lavigne on the It's Complicated tour, and the opener was Simple Plan, and I think that actually, not to shit on Avril Lavigne, because I do think it was an incredible experience, but I do remember seeing Simple Plan and getting excited that I had discovered a great up and coming band, and thinking you gotta catch the openers, because that's how I found out about I'm Just a Kid, the most important song of all time.
Tuck Everlasting was a very important book to me growing up, because it was the first book that made me afraid of infinity. And as someone who came of age in a vampire-heavy world, I was always like, why didn't these people read Tuck Everlasting? Don't they know that living forever is actually a hell worse than death? And it's always been shocking to me that nobody else seemed to understand that living forever is the worst thing that could happen to a human being. And I'm like, this is why everyone must read Tuck Everlasting.
Okay, I had the same thing, but in an eating disordered way, where I remember reading a vampire book. I don't even remember which book it was, but thinking I have to lose weight, because if I become a vampire tonight, I won't be happy if this is me forever. You can include it if you want to. No, I remember being so scared of supernatural shit for such weird reasons. I remember seeing Jumanji and being terrified of board games, because I was like, what if I get sucked in? This isn't a life I want to live. Sorry, no thank you.
Saw, also, the Saw movies scared me straight, and then I remember watching them being so deeply terrified, and then realizing the antidote is just appreciating your life. And so for years, from the ages of 10 to 12, before I went to bed, I would say out loud so that the clown could hear me, I love my life and I'm so grateful to be who I am. Because I was like, you can't kill me if I know. And I actually do think that set me up for an attitude of gratitude my whole life.
Affirmations.
To this day, I'm very grateful. I mean, I really was like, oh, there's such an easy way out. Just be happy. And I was like, I'm so happy.
I love my life.
But it does work.
Happy, then why am I crying? When I need to cry, there are a couple important pieces of media that I can always turn to. Number one, the Faraway music video by Nickelback. It's come up a lot in conversation recently.
She's always talking about this music video.
No, it just came up recently, and I keep thinking about how I used to sob when I watched this music video on the V-Spot Top 20 Countdown. I do defend Nickelback, honestly. I'm not a fan, but I do think the way they get shit on is not entirely warranted. I mean, I don't think that the way people talk about them as the worst band that's ever existed is true. There are a lot of really bad bands out there, and I think that they have a couple of hits. No, they wouldn't be earworms if they were the worst songs anyone's ever heard. You know, the fact that you know some of these songs means that there's some salt.
People are just suckers for the algorithm, negative or positive. And the way that you didn't like Matt Rife, you also don't hate Nickelback. You were just told to hate Nickelback.
The other thing that really gets a good tear out of me when I need it is a sports movie where when they're overcoming something, I just can't handle it. The movie Miracle gets me every time when they're about to win. When he announces they just won the gold medal or whatever it is, they're champions, spoiler alert, sorry, they win. It gets me. Oh my God, Field of Dreams when he has a catch with his dad. I can't handle it. I'm a cliche.
No, I mean, if I want to make myself cry, the thing that I go to first is watching a dog be rescued and rehabilitated with the love of a family. I don't know if you've ever seen a mangy little mutt turn into a beautiful young dog, but I don't care if he lost weight. I don't care if he grew his hair back. I don't care if he had ringworm. We're gonna overcome it together as a family, and I'm gonna ball. Or, okay, like, not to play into the military-industrial complex, but have you ever seen a dog meet its soldier as he came back from war? I think we should keep the war going just so that those dogs have something to look forward to.
Oh my god, A League of Their Own. Even that movie, when she throws the ball to Dottie at the end and they're old ladies, it's not even sad. I just cry whenever someone throws a baseball, I guess.
I have to say that car commercial from the Super Bowl where the grandpa got to watch the little girl do ice skating. That made me cry.
Oh my god, I hated that.
Oh my god, do you know the Super
Oh,
Bowl
you
commercial
heartless
that-
bitch! You
Yeah,
hate
they were so-
grandparents? Who do you hate? Young women in sports
No,
or
they
old
were
people
so
with community?
they were so like rich, and it was like.
I like it when
they
people
went
are
to like
rich.
an absolute manor, and you were supposed to feel like sympathy for this girl that it was like.
I actually wish
Sympathy.
everybody was
$1 billion
rich and nobody
property.
was poor. Sorry, I hate childhood poverty. I guess you're like a lot more sensitive than I am because you want the children to suffer.
Right.
You're like only happy if a kid goes to bed hungry. Okay, you're the good
Yeah.
guy.
Sickos.
Sickos.
You know that commercial where the client...
Leftists are sickos. They won't be happy until every kid is starving.
I want
And now
all
you may
fours.
succeed.
No one gets school anymore. Universal no healthcare. No one gets healthcare.
You get a meal or a grandpa, but not both, you greedy
Not
bitches.
both.
Not in my utopia. I hate to say it, but I cannot stomach America's Next Top Model. It used to be my only true friend. I used to say that no one has a friend the way Tyra Banks is your friend because she's there for you every single day, putting out episodes, putting out seasons. I tried to watch the pilot episode recently. It made me like nauseous the way she treats those people. I was just like, even in today's America, this is too far. I can't. Stop it, Tyra.
Even we read
You
her
and Tyra are
book.
very similar, actually. She's always like, you dumpster dived? How many times? What did you eat? Because you were so hungry. How hungry? You ate garbage? How disgusting was the garbage? Like, she loves that about
I
her.
used to have rabies too.
We read Tyra Banks's book, and the way that she thinks that she did like the greatest thing anyone's ever done for Tiffany, the one that she screams at and says like, I wanted more for you, you know,
We were
the
rooting for
Yeah,
you. We
we
were
were
all
rooting.
rooting for you.
yeah, she thinks that moment was like her crowning glory. She thinks that she like gifted Tiffany this like unbeatable gift, and it's like, well, where's Tiffany now? Because if you are talking to her like a mother would talk to a daughter, a mom also is like gonna keep track of that daughter. You kind of just like screamed at her, fired her off your show, and then what's she up to?
Where is she now?
Yeah.
We'd
I
all
think she
like
went
to
to
know.
jail actually.
Oh no.
Brutal.
Your favorite. My favorite band in the world is U2, and that gets a lot of eye rolls from people, but I would say they wouldn't be like, they're obviously popular because they can sell out stadiums for decades and decades. You don't have hit albums for 35 years if you're bad at music. So
Don't you think when iTunes put them on everyone's iTunes?
oh,
That
everyone
was
wants
kind of
free
weird.
music. No one wants to pay for content. We don't want a paywall, blah, blah, blah. Suddenly everyone gets a free album and we're mad about it? Sure.
I just think that
Sure.
that gave me a negative connotation for YouTube for like no
It
reason.
gave
I was
everyone
like,
a negative connotation
yeah,
for
it
YouTube
didn't-
because no one thought critically for themselves. No one thought, oh, I don't want to pay for fucking music, so here's a free album gifted to me and you're mad about it? Fine.
Okay, the only thing I like that people are really mean about is whole milk. And
that's coming back.
And that's literally on my shelf in my fridge. We have multiple. I married a milkman. I'm a milk woman. We like fused our milks together, and now we're just like milk heavy as a family.
The way that it like is a topic of conversation when they're out of milk. She'll like come to the office and be like, I'm having a really bad day because like I thought Mac was gonna buy milk and he thought I was gonna buy milk and there was no milk, and so I just had to have dry breakfast.
What do you have
To
for
have coffee,
breakfast?
no milk is an undrinkable coffee.
Yeah.
If I'm not starting off with my coffee, I'm not starting off on the right foot. Justice for Milk, I know it's coming back, and I'm happy to have you guys, but I am hurt by Big Milk because I have been in your corner this whole time, building an audience, spreading the good word, and nobody has come to me to do an ad for them. Actually, Emma Roberts is my personal enemy because she did an ad for milk about how much she loves to read books and drink milk, and I was like, that's literally
That's
my
your
personality.
brand.
That's my whole thing. Oat milk is not healthy. Like, none of those other milks are good. They're always good. It turns out it's very chemically and so sugary, and also it
It's
is
all gum.
the thing that annoys me most in the world is when people are like, who's the first person to look at a cow and say, let's drink that? That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense that we drink another animal's milk. Why wouldn't we?
Right.
And also,
We
people,
also eat the whole ass cow.
like, if we're drinking human milk, why wouldn't we drink animal milk? It, like, is, like, makes way more sense than berries. That's all I'll say. Okay, my favorite book of all time is the Neapolitan I can never remember the word for four. It's like trio, but qua.
Quattro?
No, it's not quattro.
We always do this.
Quadruple. I don't know. It's like 4 books by Elena Ferrante, and it's about 2 friends who grew up in Naples, Italy, and it is the most important book that I've ever read because it was like the first time I realized how important female friendship was to me in life, which is silly because it seems obvious, but nobody had ever said it to me before besides like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. So as an adult, to read something that was like the women that you grew up with probably formed you, I was like, oh my god, that's so true. And it's been kind of the basis of my personality ever since, is loving my friends.
I'm trying to think about what means the most to me. I think that the most important things in my media life are songs, because I feel very soundtracky about my life. Sometimes there are certain songs that play and you're just like, oh, well, that's a moment, you know, stuck in a moment that you can't get out of. Achtung Baby by U2, the Blue Album by Weezer, and 13 by Teenage Fan Club are 3 albums that, like, I need them on a desert island. Oh, and The Spirit Room by Michelle Branch. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to live on an island.
I just watched this movie called In Her Shoes, which is one of the silliest movies I've ever seen, with Cameron Diaz and Toni Collette. Toni Collette's character is like wooed by a guy that I would guess in the source material is supposed to be not hot, but the actor himself is very cute, and he has like the most incredible game of anybody I've ever seen portrayed on TV in any capacity. He does this thing where he's a great orderer. So he like goes up to her, he's like, I'm taking you to this restaurant, it's the best restaurant in the city, and this is what we're gonna get, 7 p.m. be there. And then everywhere they go, he like orders the best thing on the menu. And that was very hot to me.
That is such a grandma answer, to be like, do you know what's nice is that young man who knows so much about sushi. The horniest TV show of all time is True Blood Season 1. There's only one answer.
He said I could interpret sexy however I wanted.
I love that.
And that got me going when he just like took charge and knew good food, and like to sit down at a restaurant and not really have to think about it.
That man has wonderful eyebrows and a full head of hair.
That's not what it was. It was like he was committed, he took charge, and you were gonna eat well.
His skin was so flush to his skin and not at all falling off yet like the other men in the nursing home.
Listen.
No fighting, girls.
The things that I fall asleep to every night that I'm breaking, I've recently broken my habit of falling asleep to a screen, and I'm reading before bed, which is the most enlightened thing anyone's ever done. But I'm a BoJack Horseman, Dairy Girls, diehard. I also pay so much money for YouTube TV, which is like live TV streaming, to exclusively watch Bob's Burgers. I was paying like $50 a month to watch Bob's Burgers at 6 p.m.
Do you know what movie I watched more than me or anyone else could have possibly predicted? 27 Dresses. I watch that movie all the time. Whenever I can't think of a movie to watch, it'll be like recently watched 27 Dresses, and I go, why not again?
When Harry Met Sally.
My favorite rom-com, I think, would be Clueless.
Oh, that's a good one. But I don't love the sibling.
Yeah.
Okay, can I say I don't love the rom in it, but the com, when you watch that movie, joke for joke, it goes so hard. It is such a funny movie. Every line is so funny. Alicia Silverstone is so funny in it. It's a brilliant movie, and the com, I mean the rom.
The real com is the teachers.
Yeah.
The real rom is the teachers.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the wrong with the teachers.
If you see it as their movie.
Dion and Murray are kind of a beautiful rom.
Yeah.
Okay, we just watched the J-Lo movie album. I don't know if it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life, but it was a notable disaster.
We read a lot of celebrity memoirs, and some of them are so awful, and they all fall out of my head immediately. But if you listen to our podcast, the episodes where the book is bad is definitely our best episodes. So you'd have to ask like the listeners, what's the thing they hated most?
Yeah.
I have like had to forget in order to move on with my life, but I think the listeners would be able to tell you the worst book I've ever read.
Looking at the wall. It's hard because there are a lot of categories of worst. There are things that you have a high expectation for that really should be good and then are really bad. And then there are things that are just like funny, bad nonsense. And I think some of those are actually good in the way that they're bad, but things that have like a high budget and a lot of effort and value and then they still are bad, it's almost sad that they're bad because people worked really hard and then what happened was devastating.
No, I don't believe in having a guilty pleasure. Like what you like.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that people are proud to like are way worse.
Yeah, I also think there are a lot of things that a lot of times people are so afraid to outwardly like something that they just pick the thing that everyone else likes to be their favorite thing and they don't actually care about it. And then you get really mediocre stuff rising to the top of like reputable media just because it's such a neutral nothing thing that everyone feels comfortable saying they like it because they're so afraid to like something that other people might say is bad.
That being said, I just had to read Megan Fox's poetry book on the subway, and that was humiliating to me personally. I can explain it on my shelf, but in the subway, I am like...
Can I tell you, I was walking home yesterday with that book, and I went to the dog park with that book in a bag, and I was so anxious that someone would ask me what was in my McNally Jackson shopping bag. I was like making up excuses and things to say, and no one asked actually, so it was fine. There are a few stories that we haven't read specifically but get woven together by so many celebrity memoirs. One is the O.J. Simpson trial. The amount of books we've read with a connection or a reference to the O.J. Simpson trial, I never really followed it. I haven't watched any of the documentaries, but I've read, Caitlyn Jenner's book, Kris Jenner's book, we're reading Linda Thompson's book. There were a couple others that have a heavy hand in being like adjacent to this trial, where now I've learned so much about certain things through the memoirs talking about them.
Are you going to read If I Did It?
I really don't want to.
Is that his book?
He definitely did do it.
9/11 is a big touchstone for a lot of celebrities.
You sometimes forget, and then you read a memoir and they never forget, so it reminds you.
And it's interesting, even if where you were has nothing to do with 9/11, they kind of make it about themselves. 9/11 becomes like a really important turning point for a lot of people, regardless of why.
Oh
like
God,
Jessica Simpson married Nick Lachey because of 9/11. Juicy J did not get on a plane for years because of 9/11. It actually then contributed to his Xanax addiction because he had to start taking Xanax because he was so afraid of being on planes. Holly Madison claimed she moved into the Playboy Mansion because she was looking for security after 9/11. Everybody's got, John, the tennis player.
McEnroe.
John McEnroe actually walked out of his therapy session on the morning of 9/11, heard about 9/11 while he was in Manhattan and said, I need to write my book, Stat. Yeah. So everybody's got a 9/11 thing. The go-to memoir for a celebrity, if you're a woman, is barefoot, in jeans, buttoned down, loose around the neck, and then find like just like a loft-like space with wooden floors and kind of sit crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, get a little
and
foot.
that's how we know you're serious and really kind of gonna open up about who you are.
Show foot, baby.
I would probably have me in a button-down with glasses and then a man's arms crossed in front. That's that Tina face.
Because hers is serious, but
Right.
not so serious.
It would be the hottest photo of me you've ever seen. That's for damn sure.
I kind of don't want a photo of me on the cover of a book. I like the ones that don't put a photo on the cover, even though they are celebrity memoirs, so the photo is what sells the book. I love Jeanette McCurdy's cover. I got into an argument with someone about it recently. It's a photo of her holding a beautiful pink urn on a yellow cover. The colors are really poppy and fun, and I think it's like a fun take on a boring cover because all of the covers are just a photo of a celebrity with text on it.
Nothing makes me laugh more than my best friend Ashley.
I was gonna say you!
So I guess that would be our own podcast of us laughing. Sometimes I listen to old episodes of our old podcast that's no longer online, and sometimes I listen to our Patreon and I think, these are some really good points and those bitches make me laugh.
Sometimes we go get dinner and we laugh and we laugh and we laugh and we say, how lucky are these other tables around us that they get to eavesdrop on our dinner.
Sometimes I talk to you and I think, if only people could hear this.
And they can.
Fantastic.
Where can we find you?
Yeah.
We are Celebrity Memoir Book Club. You can listen to our podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. Plus, we're on TikTok and Instagram under Celebrity Memoir Book Club. And you can follow us on our shelves.
Yeah, I'm Ashley Ham, 3 M's.
And I'm Claire the Scare.
Thanks for coming to our shelf.
You guys
So
are
cute.
really good at that.
Thank
Really
you.
good.
We've been doing it for years. We always
Like
have
6
done
years.
it in union intro.